Welcome to Off Leash and Unfiltered. Trigger warning, I'm Katie Pepe, delivering the truth in dog training. Hey everybody, welcome back to Off Leash and Unfiltered. I'm Katie Pepe, owner of Diamond Canine Dog Training here in Southern Maine. Short one for you today. This is going to be a brief one, so I like to pepper these ones in. I just want to talk about one of the classic mistakes I see so many people making because it drives me nuts. No, but really because I think so many people are not getting the results they could get by just making this one simple little tweak. So when I meet a lot of people, they're not providing the accountability that they should be with their dogs, and no fault of their own. They're doing the best they can with what they have and the knowledge they have and the tools they have. But here's the thing. Once you get the information, you get your hands on the truth, finally you get the information, you know what tools to use, you got to execute it. So here's the mistake. And people are trying, but we're human, so we just overcomplicate things, guys. You get simple instructions, and by the time you're done with it, it's like you've just run them right through the washer and dryer, right? And you come out with something completely different on the other end, right? It's like when you put your checkbook or something through the washer and dryer, and it just does not come out looking the same. That's what happens with my instructions. They go in whole and they come out destroyed. So let me take a minute and tell you what I'm talking about. So I say this all the time, right? We teach dogs what to do. We often use reward. We'll use food if the dog's food motivated. We teach the dog what to do. We do tons of rehearsal, lots of practice, lots of reps. We put in the time. We go to different environments, right? All this stuff. Everybody should do that. At least when we're talking about like obedience stuff, everybody should do that. But after you do that, like once your dog gets the rehearsal and they know what to do and they know what's expected, now you have to expect it. Right? So I say that all the time. That's not news to most people if you listen to me, if you follow my social media at all. You gotta have that accountability. You gotta have that standard. You have to expect it. You have to expect them to do it, whether there's payment or not. And there has to be a negative consequence that your dog cares about. Frankly, that they care about very much. There has to be a negative consequence for just choosing not to do it. Okay, so that's not the news. That's not the piece I'm here to share with you. I think most people that know me, certainly most people that have used me for a trainer, most people that have listened to me, they already know that piece. But they're still going wrong. Why is that? Well, this is why. This is the thing I see all the time. And even when I'm out in the world training, this is the thing that everybody questions me about. Because they see me doing it and they go, well, don't you? And it's like, no. And I'm going to share it with you now. Okay? So that accountability has to come. Listen up. You ready for this? Here it comes. The first time you ask for something. That's it. That's it. So the accountability has to be provided the first time. So let me clarify. When I say the first time you ask for something, I don't mean if the dog listens to you. I mean if they don't, right? So I'm going to keep this very simple. We'll use the sit command because it's very simple. I tell the dog to sit. If they sit, we're all good, right? Good boy, good girl, pat on the head, fantastic. If I say sit and the dog does not sit, right, and they've been through the training, they know what it is, they know how to do it, there's a negative consequence. No, I don't give them another chance. What is it with people wanting to give their dog another chance? It drives me nuts. You gotta stop doing that. So I want you to remove all of your human emotions and guilt, and I would call it logic, but it's not logical at all. All of these things about what you think is fair, all these things that have more to do with you being nice than being effective. You got to get rid of that stuff and just think about it from a logical perspective. Okay, so I can teach your dog to listen to you the second time if you'd prefer, right? Because that's what people are doing, or the third or the fourth. Hell, I can teach your dog to listen the seventh time, right? We'll teach your dog to count. And that's what people are doing. They are training their dog to listen to them the second or third time that they ask them to do something, because they do not provide accountability the first time that the dog ignores the command. Right? So this isn't about being a bully, guys. It's not about being mean. It's not about being militant. It's about making it clear to the dog. So you are like, there's no other way to see this. You are literally teaching your dog not to listen to the first command. Right? If you're not going to correct your dog for ignoring that first command, then you might as well throw a little party for them. You might as well feed them and pet them on the head. Because you are perpetuating that. You are encouraging it. You're allowing it to continue. Right? And it might not be a big deal. I'm not saying your dog should be a robot and they should always listen 100% of the time. The first time you say something, that would be nice, but it's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying you are sending that mixed message. You are telling your dog, when I make a command the first time, it carries no weight. There is no consequence. So you have to explain to me how that's going to get your dog to listen the first time you ask for something. And I'll bet you can't. I'll bet you can't. Right? But that's our tendency. And everywhere I go when I'm working the dogs, if someone stops to talk to me, they will ask, like, well, don't you give them another chance? Why would I do that? Why would I say, oh, it's okay, that was just the first time I asked, that one doesn't count? No, so it's literally up to you. Your dog will learn whatever pattern you present them with, I promise you. They're the masters at figuring out what your pattern is. And so if the pattern is the first command is meaningless, the second command carries weight, then they will listen the second time. That doesn't mean they'll never listen to the first time. They probably will, especially if you have food. Right? But you are providing that pattern that results in that training, and that's what you get. You get a dog that listens to whichever repetition is going to carry the consequence and carry the weight and carry the accountability. So you got to teach your dog whatever it is you want them to do. If you want them to listen the second time, the third time, fantastic, good for you, do that. But here, we try to train dogs to listen the first time. So we come in right away with that accountability. Now, it doesn't mean that I just light them up like the 4th of July immediately. Like I said, we go through tons of training, tons of reps. We go to different environments. We use food. We use the leash. We give guidance. We do all this stuff. We teach them the e-collar. We do the reps with the stimulation. We teach them what it means. It's all low levels. And then we start to turn it up a little bit. And we say, well, if I say sit and you don't do it, it's going to start getting a little uncomfortable now. Because I need you to sit the first time I ask you to sit. Right? And you don't usually have to do that very much. Because dogs are smart. They learn fast. And they go, oh, I guess I got to sit the first time. Super easy. Super effective. Super efficient. Okay, but that's it, guys. Like, especially if you're already doing like e-collar stuff with your dog and you're already like on that train, you're on the right track. Like you've taught your dog all these cool things, and now your only problem is like that you have to repeat yourself all the time. That's probably why. There are other reasons. There are other things that can go wrong. But most of the time, and almost all of my clients do this at first, and I have to teach them. Well, that's because there's no accountability with your first request. And they all get it right away, too, after I say it. They're like, oh, yeah, it makes a lot of sense, right? But so do that. If your dog knows something already, and you know they know it, and you've done the reps, expect it, okay? Provide the accountability the first time. Don't give them that free pass. So if you repeat yourself and there's no accountability for ignoring that first one, then they're just going to keep ignoring the first one, because why wouldn't they? Doesn't that make total sense? Makes total sense when you think about this stuff, doesn't it, guys? All right. Well, that's it for this one. Thank you guys for listening. Send me your questions. Kati, Kati, at diamondcanine.com. That's CANINE. I look forward to hearing from you guys and seeing what you want to talk about. Happy practicing in the meantime, and until next time.